You're listening to an African Elements top news story for April 9th, 2025. Please visit our website at africanelements.org for more daily news. Minnesota is standing tall against a federal mandate. The Trump administration demanded states certify they are getting rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs in schools. Minnesota said no. The state argues the order is illegal and bypasses the proper channels, like Congress. This fight isn't just about rules. It's about protecting programs meant to help all students, especially those often left behind. For Black communities and others in the diaspora, DEI isn't just a buzzword. It represents efforts to address long-standing inequalities in education. These programs aim to create fair chances and welcoming environments. Minnesota's refusal sends a strong message. They believe these initiatives align with civil rights laws, not violate them. Therefore, the state is pushing back against what it sees as an overreach. The Minnesota Department of Education, MDE, didn't mince words. They argue the Trump administration's directive is unlawful. It attempts to bypass Congress's authority over federal funding. MDE believes the mandate lacks a solid legal basis. This stance highlights a commitment to procedures and the rule of law. Furthermore, it underscores the state's defense of its educational priorities. Minnesota officials emphasize that their DEI programs actually support federal civil rights laws, like Title VI. They reject the claim that these programs discriminate. Instead, they see DEI as crucial for creating fair opportunities for everyone. Interestingly, the state even pointed to former Education Secretary Betsy DeVos's past statements about ensuring equitable access to education, using the administration's own language to counter the mandate. Minnesota, consequently, holds firm on its belief that DEI initiatives are vital for justice. The federal mandate came with a tight deadline and a serious threat. School districts were given just 10 days to certify they were eliminating DEI initiatives to comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Failure to comply could mean losing vital Title I funding. This funding is specifically for schools serving low-income students, often including large numbers of Black and brown children. For Minnesota, the stakes are incredibly high. Around $194 million in Title I funds were allocated for the 2024-25 school year. Losing this money would devastate resources aimed at closing achievement gaps. Compounding the issue, the mandate lacked clear definitions of what counts as illegal DEI practices. This ambiguity creates confusion and makes compliance difficult, potentially leading schools to cut beneficial programs out of fear. Ultimately, this uncertainty puts vulnerable students at even greater risk. Understanding DEI is key to grasping this conflict. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. In schools, it means creating strategies that welcome diverse backgrounds and identities. Equity specifically focuses on fairness, giving students tailored support to overcome historical disadvantages. This differs from equal access, which gives everyone the same thing, potentially ignoring existing barriers many Black students face. Indeed, DEI aims to level the playing field. Minnesota argues its DEI efforts align with Title VI, which forbids racial discrimination in federally funded programs. However, the federal mandate implies some DEI practices are discriminatory. While legitimate DEI focuses on systemic issues and inclusion for all, poorly designed programs could theoretically violate Title VI if they involve race-based quotas or segregated activities. The lack of clarity in the federal order, therefore, creates significant risk for schools trying to do the right thing. Minnesota officials don't see this anti-DEI mandate as an isolated incident. They view it as part of a larger pattern from the Trump administration. Specifically, they point to efforts to withhold federal funds from states or programs without getting approval from Congress. This raises serious questions about federal overreach into state matters, particularly education. The state highlighted the requirement for an additional certification as problematic. MDE argues this is an attempt to unilaterally change the rules for receiving funds already allocated. Such actions, Minnesota warns, divert attention and resources away from the real goal, providing an equitable education for all students. Moreover, these tactics ultimately jeopardize the futures of the most vulnerable students, including many in the Black community who rely on well-funded public schools. The threat to Title I funding is particularly alarming for Black families. Title I provides crucial financial assistance to schools with high numbers of children from low-income families. These funds support essential programs like reading specialists, math tutors, smaller class sizes, and technology access. These resources directly target achievement gaps often experienced by Black students due to systemic inequities. Losing $194 million would force devastating cuts. The lack of clear guidance on how this funding would be withheld adds to the anxiety. The federal government hasn't detailed the exact process, timelines, or appeal options. This uncertainty leaves schools in limbo. Furthermore, it makes planning impossible and could disproportionately harm districts serving marginalized communities. Minnesota's fight, therefore, is not just about DEI programs, but about protecting essential funding streams that promote equity for Black students. Minnesota's rejection of the federal anti-DEI mandate is a significant development. It highlights deep disagreements over the role of DEI in education and the limits of federal authority. The state stands firm on legal and procedural grounds, defending programs designed to foster equity. For Black communities, this battle resonates deeply. Consequently, it touches on the ongoing struggle for fair educational opportunities and the protection of resources vital for student success. The potential loss of $194 million in Title I funding underscores the high stakes. This situation reveals how political battles can directly impact classroom resources, especially in underserved communities. Minnesota's alternative plan likely involves legal challenges and advocacy. Ultimately, the outcome will have lasting implications for students, educators, and the future of equity initiatives across the nation. Copyright African Elements.